Okay, it's 6:30 and we're going to go into an executive session. We'll be in there about 30 minutes for potential litigation per RCW 42.30.110 to discuss the legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to agency litigation or potential litigation to which the agency is likely to become a party. Please rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Amanda, would you do the roll call, please? Jessica, excuse me.
Councilmember Fredericks,
Here.
Councilmember Plaza,
Here.
Councilmember Chapman,
Here.
Councilmember Rounds,
Here.
Councilmember Humbert.
Here. Okay, thank you. Okay, presentation proclamation. Pete, do you know anything about that?
I don't think there is one.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
to present.
Citizens' communications for items not on the agenda. Looks like we have Mr. Scott Perry. Scott, would you like to come forward?
Oh, gosh, that's fast.
Yeah.
Scott Perry, 180 South Beacon here in Woodland. And I just put this together this afternoon, and I probably should have talked to Tracy first, but you know me. But I do want to thank Tracy for the efforts that she does with the park funds and trying to use them for the citizens. That's exciting. But I did want to suggest that the city utilize the large park area on the Island Air Drive across from the Public Works building. It looks across at the lake and the larger park beyond. The residents in that area tend to be elderly, have no yards, have limited mobility, yet need to get out and walk for exercise. It's close enough for them to walk or even wheelchair to it. And though it's nicely mowed and very usable, it lacks places for people to sit, rest, eat, visit, or just watch the many activities on the lake at the skate park or larger lake across the way. There's even a wide trail that goes down to the water where they could fish, but there's no seating down there. And since their mobility is limited, I believe seating and tables in that area would address the needs of more Woodland senior citizens than some of the areas being considered, cost less, and provide the biggest bang for the buck. I appreciate Tracy's efforts and enthusiasm, and I think she's doing a great job. But I wanted to pass that thought on. And the mayor isn't here, and I did it under 5 minutes.
Thank you, Scott.
We'll go back and try a second.
Okay, citizens' communications for items on the agenda, and there's no one here, so we'll move on. Agenda approval.
Move to approve?
Second.
Okay, it's been first and seconded to approve the agenda. Reports of city council.
I think we have to vote on the last item.
Oh, do we? Okay, all right. That's right. There's a motion on the floor with the first and the second. Jessica, could you call the roll call?
Councilmember Rounds,
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Aye. Councilmember Humbert,
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks,
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Reports of city council.
I have no report. Susan usually does, though.
She's been gone.
I've been on vacation, so I haven't attended all the meetings, but I did attend the county commissioners meeting to support the EDD approval, and it was approved unanimously, so that was pretty exciting. I'll speak to that in a little bit.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
Had a couple of citizens come to me to say, chief ain't here and stuff, the power outage we had, the great response time that we had, police officers getting out there, controlling traffic and everything. Lots of great report on that and stuff. I want to pass them on, put it out there. Here to speak after, great job, and I'm very happy.
Okay.
Oh, it's off? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, anyone else have anything? Okay. Reports of standing committees. We'll go to Public Works, which I will have Tracy to talk about that, since I'm sitting in the mayor's position tonight, and I'll do it from here on out, so.
Great, thank you. So a few things we covered tonight was our water treatment plant staffing. We have a new water treatment plant staff coming on board tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. And then also we have, we've started working on cleaning up Atlantic. So if you guys have gone down Atlantic, we've started cleaning up that, and we'll finish it during the week of April 9th. And then I will be presenting tonight on the transportation improvement plan, a recommendation for approving some added streets to that plan. I have a map that was included in the council packet in regards to adding some new streets, loops, segments, and extensions around there, so we can move forward and apply for grant funds to be able to utilize these grant dollars. Without the projects being on the tip, we will not be able to apply for grant dollars for that, government grant dollars. So I'll kind of go over that a little bit tonight. Then also, we have from the CDBG, I announced at the last meeting that we were awarded dollars out of the $171,000 that we applied for, about half of that. And so I'm going to be putting that on the council agenda for the 16th for approval of accepting those funds. We have not heard back from them yet to see if there's additional funds that we will receive, but for sure we will receive half of those. So we need to get that approved so we can get back to the CDBG. Utility workers, we're interviewing 9 individuals out of the 50, close to I think 50 applicants that applied. We're going to be interviewing 9 people for that position. And then potholes in the city, we placed about 2 tons of asphalt mix in the city streets and roads, which is about 30 potholes. And as you know, the last month I reported, or it might have been the month previously that we repaired, another 28 to 30 potholes within the city. I want to bring to the citizens' attentions and to council that we really need to start working on permanent repairs for our roads and not temporary repairs. So we need to be thinking about some long-term versus short-term fixes and how we're going to fund those street projects. Because any grant dollars, you go out for all the grant dollars you want, but without having matching funds, you cannot get grant dollars. So if we don't have the dollars in our street fund to be able to match even 10%, we're not going to be able to go for grants. So we need to start thinking about that. Park staff, we actually, as you know, we approved 2 part-time park staff to start this year, and Paul Trice, who's worked with us for a number of years, has started work on March 29th, coming back working for us. And we have a candidate that we'll be selecting out of the interviews that we had take place this next week, and with anticipation of them starting in May. Gary Park, we continue to work on the park. We've partnered with 3 more business partners outside of the Northwest Steelhead Association. With Taylor Transportation, the Dyking District has helped us out, as has Thomas Buck Construction. And we will be installing the picnic tables and benches on April 10th with a grand opening scheduled for April 18th in recognition of our Arbor Day for the city. And so I'm still trying to work with Clark County. They're in charge of the bridge itself cleanup, and get a little bit of pushback from Clark County, but still working with them to try to get them to clean that bridge up. And as you know, we had a proposed of $7,500 of park impact fees that I would like to use on this, that has approval through our Public Works Committee and the Park Committee. Then the dog run, we have the proposed use of $14,000 for that, and so we have approval with the Public Works Committee and the Parks Committee for use of those funds. And then our downtown minions that were graffiti, we have those up and replaced, so we're ready to have some more pictures taken downtown with the minions, and that's it for right now.
Does anyone have any questions? Tracy?
And if I talk too fast, you guys turn up those, speed on those hearing aids for you. I can say that because I'm partially deaf.
Do we have a time for the 18th for the open house?
Not at this time, but we'll get that out, and we're going to bring that, I need to have the mayor sign a proclamation for our Arbor Day, and so we'll get that time out. for
Perfect,
everybody.
thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Coleman, what's the time associated with the funds that are set to expire this year and to spend them? At what point do you need council to approve these items? And I know some of them are on tonight's agenda. What is the time frame on when you need to know that so you can start executing on some of the items that you have on here?
Today?
So today's the deadline.
Well, today is, I'm going to say today's the deadline for this reasoning only. If these projects are not approved, then I have to come up with a different game plan to utilize the funds, and I'm having a hard time coming up with dollars, capital projects to utilize the funds with what we have, with limited resources we have. Given the time frame that if I had a year to think about it, I can think of a whole bunch of things that I can bring to the public and say, let's move forward. But if we look at right now, I'm going to be utilizing the funds. We're already in April. I probably wouldn't have them spent and paid till August. And so now, if these aren't utilized, and I'm going down a couple more months past to present something else, and it just gets further and further. So the technical date is I have to have them spent before the end of the fiscal year. But the realistic date is the further we push it out with projects, the less the chance of money's getting spent in time projects that we can spend the money on. So I hope that answers your question, why I want to move forward, because we still have another $15,000 that we have to find to spend money on as well.
Okay. I'll have follow-up when we get to these items.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? No. Okay. All right, human resources. Who's on that committee?
That is excellent. I believe I'm on that committee. However, I was, wait a minute, I think that's me. That sounds familiar. We canceled our meeting, and we have rescheduled it for,
I believe it is the next regular meeting would be the 16th.
5:30 before the council meeting is our next scheduled meeting. Got it.
Okay. The committee calendar, public safety.
I sit on the public safety, but I was not there. Dave, do you have and I asked for minutes and I didn't get anything, so.
Oh, you didn't get any? Okay. Well, there wasn't really a whole lot discussed. We went over the vehicle issue or request a little bit. But other than that, that was about it. Chief Jackson wasn't there either.
Okay.
So it was short and sweet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of Dave? Okay. Finance and general government.
Our next meeting is scheduled for next Monday at 5:30. I was not at the last meeting. I believe Councilmember Rounds and Mr. Chapman were. We're having a difficult time getting the minutes sent to us for the meetings, and that's kind of an ongoing thing is that we don't get the notes or the minutes so we can report. So if we could work on that, that would be excellent. If you have anything to add, I wasn't there. If there's, and most of the items, if I'm not mistaken, were approved or discussed at the last council meeting and voted on.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Moving forward here, reports of city officers. The mayor's not here tonight, so we will skip that. The city administrator. Pete?
Great. Quick report. The RFP for the rate study for sewer and water is near complete. We hope to have that out very soon. We're continuing to work on the budget revamp, including the multi-year financial analysis moving forward. And this week, I have a meeting regarding the Humane Society with all of the entities that use their services. So I hope to have a better report next meeting. Also, excuse me, I wanted to announce that Public Works had a call today. The railroad is going to be doing some work at the West Scott Avenue crossing. There is going to be a road closure from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So I wanted to make everyone aware of that. Also, the council vacancy is being advertised. The period closes April 23rd to submit applications. Liquor license applications, River's Edge at 1360 Lewis River Road has applied. AWC webinar series part 2 is Tuesday, May 22nd at 11:30 a.m. at council chambers regarding Finance 101 for elected officials.
What time was that, Pete?
It's at 11:30
Okay.
a.m. So if anyone's interested, please let me know. Okay. Seeing 2 at this point.
Question, is the part 1 still available? I was not here.
You know, I'm not sure. I'll find out.
Sometimes I know that it's still available till the next one comes out, so if it's there, I'd like to.
Okay. I'll find out and let councilors know. Upcoming events, April 12th, the Horseshoe Lake Committee is meeting at 5 p.m. April 18th, WQCC is going to meet here in council chambers at 6 p.m. April 18th, the Park Board meeting meets at 5 p.m. April 18th again, the Woodland Action Center, and there's a typo here. They actually don't meet at 7, it's 6:30 p.m. at the Woodland Action Center. April 19th, the Planning Commission meets, 7 p.m. We're planning an Arbor Day celebration. We don't have the date here. I'll have to check that date out. 18th. Okay, April 18th. And do we know the location yet?
Berry Park.
Berry Park. And April 21st through May 13th, Lilac Days will be held. April 26th, after hours at Holland America Bulk Farm from 5 to 7 p.m. April 29th, Balloons to Brews Marathon, Half Marathon, and 10K races. And May 5th, Woodland's Got Talent. At the middle school, 6:30 p.m. That's my report.
Pete, the WQCC meeting, is that for all the council to attend?
There was some discussion at the last WQCC meeting about limiting each group that participates to keep it under a quorum. However, nothing's been finalized, so if you're interested in going, please let me know so we can get a notice out. If we're going to have a quorum of city councilors, I need to provide notice to the public.
I believe we decided to have it one more time with everybody so that all of the
I
interested
think you're
parties
right.
could be there and then decide what to do.
So maybe just to be on the safe side, we'll notice it as a public meeting. That way, if any city councilor wants to attend, they feel free to come.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay, Pete?
I just have one comment, I'm sorry. The park board decided to meet at 4 p.m. at the next park board meeting versus 5 p.m. So on the 18th, it's at 4 p.m.
Great, thank you.
Yes, sorry.
And will that be permanent?
They were talking about making it a permit meeting time at 4 p.m. versus 5.
Do we have council representation on that committee?
I'll be there,
Are you on that? And that works for you?
4 p.m. works.
Okay.
Okay, council vacancy.
Well, that was just part of the report. So
Okay.
applications are still being accepted. until, what did I say?
April 23rd.
April 23rd at 5 PM.
Okay. Okay, city attorney?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Okay. Clerk treasurer department? Okay. And police, they're not here, so I think chief's on vacation this week, so.
Oh, fine.
And the fire department, they're not here, so we will move on.
Your agenda's different than mine. Sorry. You're
I'll
fine.
pick this one up there.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. It's just different than mine.
Just different.
Oh, okay. Okay, community development.
Good evening. So I did a quick count of the first quarter of 2018 applications. We received 4 single-family residential, as opposed to the last quarter of 2017, we had 10. We had 54 last year. So this is mostly just a cyclical thing because a lot of the contractors haven't started their permitting yet for the construction this summer. So I'm not too worried about that number. In valuation for residential, the 4 applications are valued at about $1 million. Last quarter, the 10 homes were valued at about $2 million. So what we're making up, what we're losing in quantity, we're making up in quality of the construction. Our commercial development, we've had a really good year so far. 2 applications have come in to date for a valuation of about $2 million. In 2017, the entire year, we had 3 commercial applications for a total valuation of about $400,000. So we're already 5 times what we did all of last year. 2016, we did about $11 million all year. So this quarter is great, and I know with BLRB plus some of the other stuff that I've been talking to people about, this should be a really good year for construction. We also received the application for the ARCO AM/PM, which will be up there across from the Taco Bell at exit 22. So they submitted their application material today. We have a 2-lot short plat from Perry Gilmore that we're reviewing. We're working with the Port of Woodland, who are continuing to work on their industrial site plan, their industrial park. And Sequoia Park, which is the subdivision down along Goose River Road. You see the street is in there. They should start on their construction. They'll have their building permit in, they said, within the next couple of weeks, so we'll start seeing construction out there as well. And then we've received the notice of intention for you to consider at your next council meeting whether or not the Donald property south of the city should be considered for inclusion in the urban growth area and urban services area. So we'll be seeing that in a couple of weeks. And I finished a draft for the wireless communication facilities ordinance. So that will be routed around to the planning commission for discussion. I've sent some copies to various contacts I have in the wireless, the cell tower industry, for them to take a look at it and give me some feedback. But I didn't reinvent the wheel. I simply took the majority of what was in the Clark County Code and modified it, made it applicable to the city. But it includes kind of some of the structural standards and the design standards and adapted it to the city process. So you'll be seeing that in a few weeks.
Okay.
And that's it for me, unless you have any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Goddard?
Nope.
No? Okay. Public Works,
I have nothing to add.
nothing?
Well, I have to add about the transportation improvement plan, but I think that's further on down.
Okay. Okay.
Is it
I have
right
a
now?
question.
Oh, it is right now, okay.
It is right now.
Apologize for that. Travis has to keep me on track here.
Ms. Coleman, before we start, can I ask a question that's...
Yes, sir.
No, I don't think it's really related to transportation. Exit 21, when I come off of that exit, I've noticed a foul odor for about the last 4 or 5 months, and it seems to be getting worse. Does that have anything to do with switching to our biosolids process that we're doing, but it's a pretty foul odor, and I've been asking around, and a lot of people have said, yeah, I've noticed it too.
So let me research that, because I take that exit every single day, and I have not noticed an increase in the odor. Let me look into that, because I don't believe that would be the reason why.
Okay,
As a matter of fact, it should go the opposite way.
okay.
Yeah, I've seemed to notice that it depends on what time of the day it is, because when I come in through in the afternoon, I hardly smell it, but at night, like around, I normally come back into town around 8:30, 9 o'clock, it's strong.
And that's when there's nobody in the plant as
Yeah.
well. So I come in first thing in the morning, I'm usually hitting that exit anytime between 6 a.m. and 7:30 in the morning. And then I leave probably between 4:30 or 9:30 at night, so. But I will research it, and, but it really should have went the opposite way because
Okay.
of that. But if you've noticed an increase in the odor from the wastewater treatment plant, then that's something that I will look into.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
My transportation
Yes.
program? Okay. Does everybody have this map that you were able to click on that I submitted? It was a scanned version of this map. You did it.
Well, is it in the,
You want me
Is
to
it-
bring it up there?
is it-
That's
It's
it,
big.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
it just doesn't look as nice as yours.
Yeah.
So mine's big, it's big up. So, I'll hold this up for the public here to see, how's that sound? Because you
Sure.
guys have a map.
Sure.
Okay. So we have, can you guys see this okay? All right, so we have a map right here, and on this map, is that okay?
I can't
Can't see it.
Can you come over here? Thank you. We got come on over. Put it together. So, in this map, actually, can you not get it up on the screen?
We're having technical.
Okay, technical difficulties, so we bring paper. Okay. So, on this, you can click on this online. Okay, it's submitted online. And so, on this map, we have 16 different projects that we're proposing to go on our transportation improvement plan. This transportation improvement plan is what we use to go for grant dollars, for government grant dollars. And so Travis brought up a great idea, because he's in planning, is we have a lot of what I would call low-hanging fruit, where we have dollars that are sitting out there, but all the projects that we've had with different Exit 21, Scott Reconnect, these are all million-dollar projects. So what can we do in the interim while we're working on obtaining funds and collecting money to be able to do the million-dollar projects? So we saw a lot of the roads that are here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to route traffic away from 21. Everybody's familiar with that. So we're trying to route everybody away from 21. So what we want to do is, if you look at this, we have what I've been talking about a WashDOT with, and I'm presenting to them, is there's about, right before the bridge, we'll call it Exit 20. We're proposing an off-ramp if you're going from the north to the south. We're proposing an off-ramp headed past our Public Works building, and then we're proposing an on-ramp right there for new home developments that might be happening in Clark County. So we're trying to take all the traffic from coming into town on Exit 21 to get on the freeway to go there, trying to get them going, most people head to Portland, trying to get them going south in that direction. In the meantime, we're trying to figure out ways to route our trucks down around from Exit 21, around in the industrial area, come all the way down here. So we're trying to connect these main arteries throughout the town. So we got 3 roads we're proposing that we want to connect the main arteries for all this big heavy traffic, the truck traffic, to try to get them to come away from the outside of town instead of coming downtown and get onto the freeway down here. We're doing as much as we can to get the traffic away from Exit 21. So we're proposing some road extensions. Now, we do know that there's some landowners that we've been talking to that are for this. There's other landowners that aren't familiar with it yet. So we're asking everybody to get online, take a look at this. We're working with current landowners that some of them want to develop their property. They would like to see a road, so they have a lot of road front access on their property. It ups the value of their property. It also takes traffic away. And as you know, when we put a road in, we also put in sewer and water, right? So that makes your property more valuable. So what we're doing is, what's the benefit for all here? The benefit of all from getting traffic away from Exit 21, bringing them all down through the big heavy traffic through the outside of town. And then also we have some roads that are over here off the State Route 503 that don't loop, and they're not going through. So we're proposing some loops. So I highly recommend that everybody gets on here and takes a look at that. It's something that we're going to submit in the next council meeting to ask for us to add these roads onto our transportation improvement plan so we can go out for grant dollars to up these roads in the area. Tying some loops, like for instance, Cherry Lane. Cherry Lane, Cherry Blossom, thank you. Cherry Blossom only goes right here on Lewis River Road, but wouldn't it be nice if it went all the way through and went to Atlantic? As long as it was proposed speed with a nice center aisle with tree plantings and shrubs to keep the traffic low in that residential area. So anyway, we're just proposing some of those roads. So that's what we're gonna put on the agenda, and so get out there and look at this, and you guys have any comments, bring it back to us. So that's what we're gonna propose.
You know where the Bounce Bowl is gonna be, or?
The what?
RV Young?
RV Young is right there on Cherry Blossom, and they're gonna be helping us with part of that roadway. So the other part of the roadway is responsibility of us. So we can ask developers to go in and do the road, but if we're asking them to put a through road, they're only gonna be able to pay for half. So we gotta be able to pay for the other half. So that's what that's about. Does that answer everybody's question? Anybody have any questions on that? Frederick?
Ben, were you away?
We want to wait for, I guess I have more of a concern.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is
No,
it good to share that now, or is it good to share that later?
No, you can share your concern because then it gives us an opportunity to address it for you.
Okay. Here's my concern. So we've taken Transportation Benefit District to the voters 2 times, and both times they've said, we're not interested in moving forward with providing additional funds for transportation.
Correct.
So that's kind of the vision that we've been, or the message that has been sent that we've received.
Yep.
My concern is this is another one where it appears that we're making several transportation changes without very little input provided by the citizens other than the ones, so I get it tonight, and then next meeting, I'm approving making these changes without zero input to the folks. And it raises an issue. I was at a meeting, I was at the mayor's State of the City address earlier this year where he gave the analogy of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich versus a turkey sandwich.
Yes.
I guess my question would be is at what point are we going to allow the folks to say, I want a turkey sandwich? Because I know we're making peanut butter and jelly, but at what point do I say, hey, we've really involved the people here in allowing them to have a turkey sandwich if they want one?
That is a great concern. I'm glad you brought it up because this will help address it. So first of all, we're bringing it to the meeting to let the public know this is what we're thinking about. It's online, go look at it. So there's the first thing. Second of all, I have gone out and met with individual business owners and told them the whole reason why we cannot, they've asked us for different routes. And told them the whole reason why we can't give them these different routes, these main arteries that we're talking about going on the outside of the city is because it isn't on the transportation improvement plan. So I can't go for dollars to put these roads in that they're asking for because it's not on our plan. We have stuff on the plan that we don't have dollars for. So I've met with individual, mainly the freight haulers in the area. And I went to their offices and talked to them and said, this is what I want to do. And oh, by the way, I can't go out for your freight mobility dollars, which is millions of dollars because first of all, we don't have the money to match. And second of all, it's not on our plan. So I can't go get that form. So I have been talking to the community, and Travis has been talking to them, and I'm going to let him take it from here because he and I have been working together with the community to make them aware of what we need to do and what do they want, and that's how we came up with this to begin with.
Okay.
So I'll let Travis go from there.
Sure. I think the peanut butter and jelly and turkey sandwich analogy is going to keep coming up a lot as we get back to it. At this point, what Tracy and I are letting you know is that if you want a sandwich, we need to start the conversation. So the reason why this came up is because we were working with PM RV, and we were trying to convince them that it was a really good idea for them to extend Cherry Blossom and why, and the advantages for them. But at this point, it is entirely 100% the applicant's decision whether or not they believe that there should be cross circulation and there should be that connection. because we don't have a plan to point to that says, look, this is what the city needs going forward for the next 20 years worth of growth. And so we own RV, we sat down with them, I talked them to the various pros and cons, and convinced them that it was a good idea to set aside the space for a road to connect. And luckily, they see the logic in it. But if we come across an applicant who's not interested in doing what's best for the city, but maybe what's best for them in that case at the city's expense, there's nothing that Tracy and I can do to prevent them from making that decision. And so this is the start of the conversation for us to say, what does the city need to fix some of its transportation problems that doesn't involve the city paying for it all, or the taxpayers paying for it all? We're looking for opportunities and improvements that will help landowners get excited about developing their property in ways that they haven't seen before. That's why you see all these little squiggly lines that is, that would be interesting, because now this becomes a corner lot instead of an isolated land lot with no frontage. So those are the kinds of conversations that we will be having when we update our comprehensive plan. And so we know that we've already done the January comprehensive plan decision for this year. So we're really laying the groundwork for what's going to occur in January of next year, January, February of next year. So we threw this on the agenda in the hopes that it would spark conversation and get people excited about coming to us about those conversations and telling us what kind of sandwich they want.
And it's not, we're not asking to go to the voters to ask for money. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is saying, we're trying to put something on the plan so we can spend grant dollars that we're going to apply for. And you can't spend the grant dollars unless it's on the plan.
Right.
So we're not asking to go out to the voters to ask for any additional dollars for transportation. We're asking for them to let us put something on the tip so we can go for grant dollars to be able to do these roads for them and match those ones who want to develop their property, so we have the dollars to match the roads.
So this gets them to the restaurant, is really what we're trying to do here, and then we'll tell them the specials when they get there. I just want to make sure that that's part of the, that it's part of the discussion. Do you know what, I just want to make sure there's that involvement with the public, that we have the maps, that we explain what we're doing, why we're doing it, the importance, who it benefits, those types of things. I just want to make sure we're having that and it's not left off discussion. And I would say this, I would add this, that grant dollars are typically tax dollars that are being matched. So I want to be mindful of the fact that grant dollars don't just come out of the sky.
No, they do not.
They come from the taxpayers.
Right.
Okay. I really appreciate that, and I think what has been put together here is great. I really like this idea off of Pinkerton having direct access to Interstate 5. Have you run these ideas past the Department of
Yes.
Transportation, and they were?
Yes. We're going to be having further discussion with it.
Okay.
Yes.
I appreciate it. This is good stuff, so thank you.
Again, it's out there for the public to see. That's why we're bringing it to these meetings, that's why we put the map out there. These council meetings are for the public, and they need to get here and tell us they want meat, not P&J.
Right. I just think sometimes, though, we need to focus our message as to, we're not having a city council meeting tonight. We're going to have a meeting about transportation, and we want to show you some maps, and we're really excited to get your feedback on some of the proposals that we have. We think you're going to like them, and take information from the folks on what they'd like to see.
I agree.
So I think in the end, it makes a much more of a comprehensive process that makes a better plan, which is, I think, what we're all after.
Correct. I also, just as a little background, there are 10 current items on the Transportation Improvement Program, and of those 10, one of them is the Scott Avenue Reconnect, and 2 of them are transportation studies. So we're really talking the lion's share of the project fund-wise. It's the Scott Avenue Reconnect, and the rest of it's really, so of the 86 million, 80 is the Scott Reconnect, 6.5 million is all of the other 9 projects. When you take out the 2 studies, I think it's down to about $600,000 is actual what we plan on spending on our roads in the next 6 years. And that's the city's share of that project. And so what we were trying to do was just do a brainstorm to figure out outside of the box what really needs to be on this list. And the next step that we'll do is we'll go to the planning commission, we'll have a brainstorming connection session and go from our 16 projects, maybe it needs to be 26. And then we'll start estimating what those dollar costs will be. And we'll run that through a full public process with the planning commission and let them beat us up and figure out what makes sense and what doesn't. And then we'll bring that recommendation forward to you. So you should have assurance that there will be a full public process before it ever gets to you.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay. Reports of Advisory Committee, Cowlitz-Wahkiakum Council of Governments.
Our meeting was last Thursday. The majority of the meeting was, well, all of the meeting was on the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, SEDS, and putting together our new EDD. All of the resolutions were passed, which is a fabulous thing. And then, as I said earlier, the county commissioners passed it and voted it in. So our new EDD will be just Cowlitz and Wahkiakum County. And maybe as time progresses, we'll add others, but that gives us more of a handle when we're asking for dollars, transportation and other dollars, because instead of asking as one county, we're asking as 2. So it's a really good thing. It was really exciting to have it all come together and pass.
Any questions of Susan? Okay. We'll skip the AWC with Mayor Finn. Downtown Woodland Revitalization.
I was not there and I did not get minutes. I don't know if anybody else was there.
Okay.
So the next meeting is on the 10th, a week from tomorrow. I'll be there.
Okay. Okay, consent items.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's a first and second to approve the consent items. Jessica, would you take a vote, please?
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Humbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, action items. Do we just take each one?
Yep, each
Okay.
one, yep.
All right. Public Works. Authorization for purchase improvements at Gorig Park with park impact fees.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, there's a first and second to approve authorization for purchase for improvements at Gorig Park with park impact fees. Would you take a vote?
And
Or
just
is there any discussion? Excuse me. Yes, is there any discussion?
I'll go back to the same issue that I raised before. I think many of these items that we're being presented with tonight are good things. I'm just not sure how much we've done a good job of reaching out to the community to say, this is what we want to do. And I know there's a time crunch. That's why I asked the question earlier, is, do we have time? And I realize that this is an extra process to invite the public in to say, this is what we're planning on doing, what do you think? And that's my only issue with each one of these. Well, I may have more issues with G, but F and H, those are actually all 3 of them. That was my biggest concern, is that I think these are great. I think that there was some thought by staff that was put into it. I just don't know how much the folks were involved, other than the first time I heard about these proposals was at the second meeting in March, and now we're set to vote on them tonight. We had one citizen speak tonight about another opportunity that might be a viable opportunity that could be looked at. I'm just not sure that we have done enough outreach and information and put it together, put the stands up, the easels, and say, here's what we want to do. What are your thoughts? And give them the opportunity. We may have 5 people that show up, but we gave them that opportunity. And I think that part of the concern is well, we did. We gave them last week, we gave them this, and in the meantime, we ran it through the park board. That was their opportunity. And I think we are the ones that miss out on kind of explaining to the folks what it is that we're doing, some of the good things that are going on, and to get their buy-in and support for things. That's my issue with these items.
Yes.
For this particular one, I know that I've talked to a lot of people who just think this is amazing what's going on there. We've had several businesses, as Ms. Coleman stated, that have given to this park. And this is to buy picnic tables and benches and to have this ready for Arbor Day and all the new trees and the things that have been donated and planted there. I sit on the park board as well, and I think this is exciting. I would like to see a yes vote for this for F.
Anyone else? Okay.
Tracy, I know, you know how I feel about these 3 parks and what we're doing here and stuff. You said there's still more money out there that we could use, but we just don't have something. Is something that Mr. Perry brought up, is that something viable that we could use for approving or expanding, as you say?
It was 15,000, didn't you say, Tracy, that you?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that real quick. So, we're proposing to utilize the 3 items that are on the agenda tonight for approval, $40,150, with 58,362 available. So we still have $18,150, $112 available, that need to be spent this year. So definitely, some of the items that Scott has presented that we can look at, but I want to really bring to the attention again, the impact fees, how they have to be used.
Yeah,
So you have to be, I don't want to say creative, but you're very limited on how these park impact fees can be used. Now, given the resources that we have now and no land being available to purchase for $58,000, which would be a real quick way to do that, I can't use it to do the shoreline on the pocket park, to secure the shoreline. I can't use it to add a water filling station at that pocket park. There's certain things we can't use these funds for. So while we have a lot of, and something I need to look at is what Scott's brought to the attention, see if that's viable to use these $18,000, which, believe me, if I'm only asking for, $7,014, for these bigger ones, I don't think for the small area that Scott's talking about, we're talking, big dollars here. But we just have to be careful because, again, items can be brought forward, but you have to make sure that you can use the park impact fees for those items. So, and it can't be for maintenance. It can't be for, Travis can speak on it better than I can on that.
So like normal maintenance and repair can't be done. It has to be a capital project that's reasonably associated with growth. So in other words, if you have an existing soccer field and you needed to add bleachers to it, because the number of teams that are playing and the number of parents who are now out in the field watching, so that might be something that's reasonably related to growth, but you can't necessarily add additional permitting
or host a soccer event. You can't say I'm going to use my dollar for that. Or, hey, we have deteriorated bleachers, so now we're going to replace the bleachers with park impact fees. It doesn't work that way because you already had that capital asset. Now, the reason why we're able to do this at Horseshoe Lake Park is because the bleachers that were there were not adequate in size for the demand that we needed. So we're able to replace the few, 20 to 50 seats we had with 150 seats. So that's the reason why we're able to use it there. And it's very particular on how you use the funds. So, there's capital dollars that he's talking about that can be spent. And this is a park area right there in front of the mobile home area by our our public works building, we could look at some capital dollars that could be spent there and see what we could do. And that was one of the items I brought up for the pocket park as well, is maybe we change that park, instead of a city park, we change it to an athletic park where people do push-ups and sit-ups, et cetera, which may justify us to be able to put in a water filling station. So we have to be very creative in how we use these funds, and so I am open to any ideas the public has for, again, we still have $18,000 left to spend. That's a lot of money for what we have existing in the city.
Mr. Randall, do you know if state law allows us to extend the time frame on, as long as you have something planned on park impact fees or impact fees in general, are we allowed to extend the time frame on paying those funds out?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I can look it up.
Might be a moot point after this.
We can. I know that for some of the things that the COG has impact fees for, as long as we have it, we can show it, dollar amount, we can ask for an extension. That doesn't mean we're going to grant it. We can ask for an extension.
Who do you go to? The state? Okay.
Yeah, that'd be, again, I don't have any issues with these projects. I think they're great. My issue is that I would like to see more outreach. If we do these things, I'd like people to know about them before they're doing. The only opportunity they have is last meeting, this meeting, or if they showed up at the park board meeting. That's it. We did no public outreach. And that's one of the things that I'd like to see changed as far as get in front of the folks with, this is what we want to do. It was presented very well. It needs to be presented very well to the folks. And give them an opportunity, a set time, only to come here to talk about. Some people don't want to come to these. They're intimidated by the whole process. They don't want to come. This gives them an opportunity to just come and learn about what we're doing in the parks. We can hear proposals from, other folks that are interested. I'm not suggesting that that Mr. Perry's idea is great.
Sure.
It may be great, it may not be. There may be others out there that we haven't even thought of that could be, aha, that's a great idea.
Well, and you have a great example there, because the dog park was an aha that somebody brought
Yep.
to me for that idea, which, wasn't my idea. It was somebody
Yep.
else's idea that said, hey, what are we doing with that? Why don't we do this? I'm like, there we go. Let's do that. That's a great idea. So that was one that a public person did bring to my attention. So.
I believe Councilmember Humbert had spoken to it kind of under her breath over here, but I believe that there is an opportunity to extend those, extend the expenditure on those. And so from my standpoint, I'd like to see us actually do a open house for those projects and have it. I still think that can be done in short order and have it done to where we have the summer time to be able to get it done. And I realize that pumps the brakes, but again, I'm only one member, but that would be my suggestion. Were you able to, Mike? No? Okay. Smart. Okay.
Anyone else?
Oh yeah, I'm going to jump in here real quick since everybody else has had a turn. I agree with Councilman Fredericks that there needs to be public outreach on a lot of things. At the same time, I also disagree that when it comes to, in the grand scheme of things, small purchase items like this, in areas that the process is just going to improve the area, and it's an area that has been a concern of Woodland for a while. I've had several people come up to me, and, not just since I've been on the city council, but since I've been here, complaining about Gorg Park and how ugly it is, and when are we going to do something about it. Now that we have the opportunity to do something, and it's all beautification things, it's not major construction. I don't really feel that we need to have a sit-down every single time that we decide to do something. It's something that's minor like this, and it's something that is just surface stuff, the beautification and put in the barriers and that kind of thing. for an area that has been a concern for citizens of Woodland for a long time. I don't see a reason why we can't go forward with it. Now, things like what you brought up with the roads and the on-ramp and off-ramp, yeah, definitely have an outreach and education, thing for that, but something like this, I don't think we need it. And I think we should just go right to the vote.
Okay. All right, Jessica, would you take a vote, please?
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Humbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
All right, it's been approved. Item number G, Public Works, authorized purchase for improvements for dog park at Sandalwood Road and Park.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion. It's been first and seconded for authorization for improvements for dog park at Sandalwood Road with Park. Discussion.
As
Yes.
Tracy stated, this was an aha from someone else. I know that we've been looking at doing a dog park for several years, and she's got some really good things going on. I think it would be a fabulous place to put a dog park and the money to do it, and let's get it done.
Is this the dog run we were talking
Mhm,
about? Now, wasn't there some concern with that? We had to talk to the state or something about buying
Yeah,
or
the
selling
only-
land?
Yes, so the condition of the dog park basically is to make sure that we obtain that land through WashDOT at little or no cost to us, $40.
Okay. Have we worked on that at all, or we can't do
We
that
are
until
working
after
on
that?
that, we're waiting to hear back from them.
Okay.
So, and I would not proceed forward in spending the full dollars until I have that. Now, I will say that they have offered to lease us that park and ride area for a very low dollar amount if they had decided to move forward to sell it to us or provide us that land that would still be inclusive of these dollars where we can move forward. So no matter what, we have a lease that we could do for very low dollars that would be inclusive of these dollars being spent for a year until we could get the land in our possession that we would own the land.
But the dog, so whether we approve it or not tonight, it's still dependent on whether the state sells us or gives us the
Yes, because I
land.
do not want to move forward until we have the land.
Right,
That's
okay.
100% correct.
Okay, yeah, that's just what I want to make sure of. Okay.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Can you tell me a little bit about I went over to the site and I noticed that the grade is like this. Am I looking in the wrong area? Where the grade is, it looks like a hill where the actual,
So when you turn right, like you're looking at the wastewater treatment plant, it's just right on the right-hand side.
right on the right-hand side there, it seems to be at a slope.
Sloping towards 21. It doesn't slope towards the road. No, wrong way. You're on the, are you looking on the left-hand side of the road or the right-hand side of the road?
I'm looking at the right-hand side of the road.
Yeah, it's on the right-hand side, but it slopes the other way.
That way?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it slopes towards the fence side. I don't even think it slopes like that. I have photos of it, so.
Are you talking about the slope from the off-ramp down to
I mean,
the level?
it actually slopes
There's
towards Lewis River, I believe. Lewis River Road, is that what you're talking about?
It seems like a majority of the spot you had indicated that it was going to be on is sloped severely towards, so if
Dogs
I'm
love hills.
this way. Well, dogs might, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's
people
not,
do.
well, it's not, it's perfectly walkable, and, yes. So, no, it's not anything extreme that would not allow somebody to walk in there.
Okay. And there was no, was there any traffic analysis done on the amount of trips that were going to be generated at that site? Because I do,
No.
we should be cognizant of the fact that that's an area already that's congested.
Right.
And we are going to be creating more trips there. And do I have the ability then to take a left-hand turn from the site to head back towards?
Yeah, so it's the same as if you're going to the wastewater treatment plant. And remember that it was a park and ride for WashDOT, for our city. It was a park and ride facility on that road.
What year was that?
Most recent, when did the new one go in?
way before my time.
15 years ago?
JJ, do you know?
I've been here 25 years.
So,
So we're, our 80s?
that's a good year. That's a good era.
Well, the reason
I
I
don't know
say
the
that
answer to that.
is, the reason I say that is times have changed,
Right.
and it's not 1985 or whatever.
Right.
And I'm throwing out that year because it wasn't like that before, and I've been here 10 years now, and it wasn't like that then, but from some of the folks that have been here, I don't know when it was last a park and ride. So I have concerns with the location.
I don't believe that there's going to be, of course, I haven't done a study for people going to and from the dog park and how much traffic we have, but I would make the assumption that it would be before work hours and after work hours. Because people come home, they want to take their dog to a park for 4 hours, or during the middle of the day, which really doesn't matter due to the fact that that is our peak hours. Or they're coming home and they're grabbing the dog and they're taking their dog there after hours. Or, what I see a lot of is people are going to be using it from the RV park that's right there, that take their dogs there anyway. They'll be using that instead.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Councilman, just a question. For impact fees, they have to be expended or encumbered within 10 years of receipt. That may be extended by, quote, extraordinary and compelling reasons, if documented in writing by the governing body. Does that answer your question?
Do we have, are we at the 10-year?
No, we're not at the 10-year.
Where are we at?
5 years.
So are park fees different from the other fees?
No.
So we have 5 more years.
You don't.
Used to be 6, and then it is to 10.
Well,
That's news to me.
that opens up the opportunity for us to be able to have more public outreach on these items.
Sure.
I tend to agree with Councilmember Plaza on the previous one that, I think that makes total sense. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But I don't know, I just think we missed the boat, and I want to try to give people that opportunity, so that's where I'm at with it. We got 5 more years, folks.
Anyone else? Comments?
Thank you for the opinion.
Okay.
For the correction.
No further comments. We'll take a vote.
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Humbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks?
No.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye. Okay. We'll move on to action item number H. Authorized purchase for improvements at Horseshoe Lake Park with park impact fees.
Move to approve?
Second.
Okay, it's been first and second to approve authorization for purchase for improvements at Horseshoe Lake Park with impact fees. Question, or comments?
Again, this is something that we need. We don't have any bleachers at Horseshoe Lake Park, so any of the things that happen for Planters Day or the dog shows or any of the other things, there's really no place to sit. So this would be, take care of that. And the outlets for vendors or movies in the park, part of the reason WQCC wanted to do movies, but there was no way to do that because there was no electricity. So that would help take care of that. We could do movies for the kids. I think that would be a really good thing. Maybe we would have some vendors come in their little trucks or whatever they are that during some of these holiday kind of things that we have going on. So I would ask for a yes vote on this.
Yes.
I don't disagree with anything Councilmember Humbert said. I think it's a great idea, and I'm going to go back to what I originally indicated, that we have time here. There's no rush. This is the first time, really the second meeting I'm hearing about this with no input from the public. So I will be voting no on this item as well.
Anyone else?
I just have a question. The 140 seats, where'd that number come from? Why do we need 140 seats down there?
It came from how many people in the bleachers were voting.
I mean, did somebody just throw a number out in the air and say we need bleachers for 140 seats? Or
Well-
the only bleachers we could
Well,
get held 140 people?
No, we actually over doubled the capacity we actually tripled the capacity from our past bleachers, and we did it to keep within a budgetary number. What can we buy for this budgetary number, how many seats can we buy?
Okay, so just the maximum number of seats we can get for the X dollar amount of dollars?
That's correct.
Okay.
Which goes so high with the safety rail, et cetera.
Great.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I just want to add, I'm not, well, I am disagreeing with Ben.
Okay.
But we have had people complain about not having the bleachers, and we're going to have fireworks for Planters Day, and they have no place to sit. So yes, I think that this is already, maybe this particular idea wasn't put out there, but those ideas have come here. We need the bleachers. We need the electricity so that the vendors can come in, or like I said, WQCC wanted to do movies and we didn't have any electricity, so we couldn't do that. So those ideas have come in, and we're just now getting around to doing something about them.
Where have they come in from?
Public,
Okay.
have you not gone down to the park to watch the fireworks and had no place to sit? Have you not gone down to watch the boat races and didn't have any place to sit?
I brought my own chairs.
Well, not everybody can afford new chairs. Some of us have to sit in the bleachers.
I will share that we do have people come in our public works office on a regular basis
Okay.
and stop by and ask, and I also, and I know you know this, and I
Yep.
also will share that when I've gone to the park board meetings and being new at the city, they just put their arms up and said, people have been asking about this for years now, I'm going by what they have said, and we can't believe that it's finally going to happen. So, I mean, I think people can contest to this. We see shaking in the audience that it's been asked for years.
Yes.
And so, when I went in there and presented, they're like, kind of like I read their mind, but it's what I've seen in the short time that I've been here, what the city needs, and I've only been here since October. So if I've seen that it's a need, and I'm going to these meetings as a brand new attendant in these meetings, and they're saying, we've been asking for this for years, I mean, and people are coming in the public works office, I think there's been a lot of opportunity for public to come say what they need. Now, has it been immediately in the last 30 to 60 days? Absolutely not. But at the same time, I'm just doing something that has been asked for and needed for a number of years in the past. Now, on these
Right.
particular
On these
fees.
particular
And I really want to impress upon the fact that I'm very grateful for you to bring these items before the council. I think they're fabulous ideas. I really do. I really don't, with the exception of the last one, I really don't have an issue with anything. I think they're great ideas. I think we're missing the boat on. I'm hopeful that maybe when it's all said and done, that we can have an open house to say, look what we've done for you. My idea is that we have it before. I just think we're missing the opportunity on that, that's all. And I do think these are great ideas. I haven't had one person tell me in the 10 years that I've been here that we need more seating at Horseshoe Lake Park. Maybe I'm not in the correct circle of folks, but I'd just like to see more of
Well, now that I have
us to do more
another 5
outreach.
years to plan.
You have plenty of time.
We could present a lot to the public of some ideas coming up. So this gives me a little bit of breathing room, because I was under the impression that we literally only had 5 years, and I was running around thinking, what are we going to do, and this is what we need. And so luckily we moved forward with small dollars, but I think we have a great opportunity to plan for next year and have some public forums and openings and open houses and say, hey, this is what we're going to propose, come bring your ideas.
Yeah,
And I'm all for that.
excellent. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you've done on these, and both you and Mr. Goddard working together and coming up with some of these ideas, because they're great ideas.
That 5 years came from me, so that's
Okay.
it's entirely.
He threw me
It's
under the
okay.
bus, I'm going to say. I didn't do my research, so I'm to blame.
No worries.
Any other comments? Okay, Jessica, would you take a vote, please?
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks?
No.
Okay, it's been approved.
So, just a parliamentary question on the last item that's on the agenda. There is nothing attached.
This
of a s-
HSL improvement?
No, that's the.
That's what you like to-
That's the improvements.
That's it.
That is
Before
in-
that, yeah.
okay,
Just
all right.
Just tells you what they were going to do.
Okay,
The electrical outlet.
It's for Shoe Lake improvements.
okay. So,
Was there hold on, I thought there was another item that was on there that was.
This is what that is.
Do you have page 4 of the agenda?
page 4, no, 1, yeah, I do, 2, 3, and 4.
That's all I've got.
Okay,
See, that was it.
I'm missing page 4, and it had on there, on the agenda that was published this afternoon, did it have something regarding the TIP amendment that was requested?
Yeah, and I already covered that.
You
But
did?
It's just a presentation about what's up and
Okay.
coming to get it out in the public eye.
I lost page 4 of the agenda.
Yeah, it was on there.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that there was not an expectation that we were
Nope, it
going
was
to be.
just to get it out in the public eye and say, this is what we're thinking about, put the map on the website so people know, and to bring it up here in council so everybody's aware of what our thought process is.
Okay,
okay,
For
appreciate it.
discussion.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
okay.
Aye.
Meeting, we don't have to vote on that, do we? Okay, meeting is adjourned.
Agree, stay.
Typically,
Good job, guys.
So do you?
Wow, man.
all in favor.
Just get this one down to the
All right, I'll get you.
even the next 30
Are
minutes.
You might have had something you wanted to say.
Susan didn't want us to talk about what we were talking about. She makes the motion to adjourn. Well,